Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is wonderful to be together. Judaism as a religion is one that is obsessed with peoplehood. We're obsessed with the sense that we belong to an extended and global family bound together by shared history, by shared memory, by shared destiny. It runs through everything that we do. We can't start our morning tefillot, our morning prayers, without a minyan. We need 10 people, the smallest unit the tradition is willing to call a whole. The Torah counts us formally 3 separate times, 3 censuses, each one a chance for every Jew to be folded into the body of community. And the whole thing traces back to one single moment. All of Israel standing together at the foot of Mount Sinai, receiving the Torah as one people with one voice. This is something we still feel constantly. It's the reason why we can travel to a foreign city and walk into a synagogue and feel that we're 20 minutes away from home. It's the reason why when we see Jews tens of thousands of miles away on the news, their news lands in our chests like it's our own family. Peoplehood is one of the most beautiful things that we can carry. But something that we read in our parsha this morning sort of cuts against our whole idea of peoplehood, and it's something that we do every single Friday night. The priestly blessing, the words that we lay over our children on Friday night, the words that we speak under the chuppah, the words that we bless with, the words that mark nearly every threshold of Jewish life, it doesn't address us as a people. It addresses us each as an individual. It says, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless and protect you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God be kind and gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bestow favor upon you and grant you peace. Every part of this blessing ends in the singular. When we picture the moment that it's given, a parent lying their heads on a child's head to bless, those hands aren't blessing the entirety of the Jewish people. They bless that individual child, that hair, that forehead, that face. There's an old way to read this that is not singular. When the Torah describes Israel arriving at Sinai, it uses a singular verb, vayichan, he camped. And Rashi says the reason that they camped there, vayichan, one person camped, is because ish echad belev echad, one person camped with one heart. And on that reading, we become an entire heart. All of our persons become an entire heart. And that's the single building block of peoplehood. A nation so unified that it becomes a single self. But I think that the priestly blessing is reaching for something different than this moment at Sinai. It's reaching past blessing us as an entire nation and lands on blessing you. You as a specific person, as a specific face, somebody who is held specifically to the attention of God, not the congregation, not the entire Jewish people, but you. Peoplehood, it turns out, asks something more demanding than sameness. It asks for a community able to look at each and every single face inside of it and hold each one on its own terms. Right before the Torah outlines its blessings, it says, say to them, Amor lahem. And Rashi notices that the letters Amor contain an instruction in them about how the blessing is given. We say it slowly, without rushing, and with complete presence. And that's what we strive to when we give the priestly blessing. We give it with a whole heart. And you can't give somebody a blessing with your whole heart unless you actually look at the face in front of you. You can't give a blessing without looking into somebody's eyes, without seeing who's actually there. So there stands an argument in the priestly blessing against peoplehood. But I'm not here to argue against peoplehood. It's precious. I'm saying that on its own, it's incomplete. We can't hold ourselves as one people while letting the individual hearts inside the one blur into a single mess. Each of those hearts is worth blessing for being uniquely itself, uniquely the one standing beside it, which is maybe why this priestly blessing comes to us in the singular. The blessing turns towards every face. But our parsha ends with a picture that's very different. When the Mishkan is dedicated, the portable sanctuary the Israelites built in the wilderness, the leaders of each of the 12 tribes came forward to bring a gift. They're all named. Nachshon ben Aminadav came for the tribe of Judah. Then Netanel ben Suar came for the tribe of Issachar. Then Eliav ben Chelon for the tribe of Zebulun. One leader came each day for 12 days straight. And every single offering was identical. They all gave a silver dish, a silver basin, a golden ladle, the exact same amounts of bulls and rams and lambs, the same sin offering, the same offering of peace, down to the very weight of the silver. The Torah could have written it once and added a single line. The next 11 offered to bring the same. But we know that the Torah does everything for a very specific reason. And instead, the Torah spells out all 12 in full, refusing to abbreviate at all. The Midrash in Bamidbar Rabbah explains this. Though the gifts look identical on the table, each one carried the particular soul, the particular history, the particular longing of that tribe that brought it. To fold them into one summary, to take 2 verses instead of 90, would have been to erase 11 of them. Identical treatment in the Torah is not the same as being seen. And in our lives, it's very easy to forget this. We assume that if we've treated everyone the same, we've been fair, and that if we've been fair, we've done our duty to them. But you can hand every person in a room the same greeting, the same handshake at the door, the same form letter with their name pasted at the top, and not have seen a single one of them. That's because sameness is easy, but attention to each one is challenging. The collective doesn't dissolve the particular. A community or a system that cannot hold both at once is failing at something essential. There's one thing about the gifts that have been sticking with me or that I've been thinking about a lot. They were lavish and the intentions of the heads of the tribes were sincere. But they still came from the heads of each tribe who had access to such niceties. Who knows if the lowest person in each tribe had come up to give an offering, if they would have had the materials to give an offering at all. Even though the Torah spends so much time on each tribe, it still spends its time on the leaders of the tribes, not necessarily the others, the people who are still important, the people who have faces, who make up the tribe. This week, Pope Leo XIV released the first encyclical of his papacy. This is the most authoritative kind of teaching a pope ever issues. He called it Magnifica Humanitas, the magnificent humanity. And he signed it deliberately on the anniversary of an encyclical written 135 years ago to confront the upheavals of the Industrial Revolution. And his subject, which I'm sure we all know, is the great upheaval of our own time, artificial intelligence. The Pope is no enemy of technology. He writes plainly that there is nothing evil in the thing itself. It holds real power to heal and to connect and to teach and to protect. What unsettles him lands very close to this unsettling feeling I have about our Parsha. Technology, he writes, is never neutral. because it quietly takes on the characters of the people who design it, who fund it, and who regulate it. And when those decisions rest in the hands of a small few, something essential is put at risk. The danger is not that the decisions lie in the hands of the wicked. It's simply that we don't know the people who the decisions lie in. They're not us. They are not our faces. This has already happened in many ways. When I was seeing the ways that it happened, I learned about a computer scientist named Joy Bullmanwini. She collided it with her own face. She's a graduate student at MIT, and she was building an art project, a mirror that could layer images onto your own reflection. And she discovered that the facial recognition software that she was using, at its heart, some of the most advanced in the world, could not detect her face at all. It couldn't detect her face because her skin was too dark for it. She ended up having to hold a literal white mask in front of the camera, and only then, looking at the mask, did the machine agree that a human being was there and present. She gave the phenomenon a name: the coded gaze. The quiet way a technology carries the preferences, the priorities, and the blind spots of whoever built it. The faces in the training data become the only faces that the machines learn to recognize. And to everyone that is outside that data is, to the system, invisible. When she went on to test the leading commercial systems, her numbers were stark. Lighter-skinned men were recognized nearly all of the time, and darker-skinned women failed to be recognized even as much as a third of the time. It's the Pope's warning played out almost too perfectly in a formula. You can't build a machine to see every face when you were only ever looking at some of them to be seen. Her own way of putting it belongs right next to our priestly blessing. If you have a face, you have a place in the conversation about AI. But if we pull back from machines for a moment, from the Pope and from our current moment and from the news that is running towards us every day, the demand underneath has always been ours to meet. The priestly blessing is a prayer. It's given with a full heart over a face that is truly being held near to us, a blessing in a form of prayer. You can't pray over a face you've never bothered to see. Not the people, not the count, it's just you. The Torah has asked what the Pope is asking from us for 3,000 years and has never lowered the bar. We must see every face, one at a time. And that same standard holds for this blessing, for this computer scientist holding up a mask to a camera, to the Pope who's writing this very week. None of us really have a shared language. Some of us don't even have a shared century, and definitely no shared tradition behind us. And every one of us can land at the same lesson. We must recognize every face. The Pope, near the end of his encyclical, writes, "A human face that asks to be gazed upon remains the center of our history." The face that asks to be gazed upon is our center. 3,000 years of the priestly blessing in the same sentence, the very thing our Parsha teaches us this morning. This intersection is far more remarkable. It is a teaching that is ours. Seeing does not belong to popes, to priests, or to the people who write the codes. It belongs to us. It belongs to every face in this room. It belongs to us every Friday night that we bless our children. It belongs to us every day when we make the holy decision to turn towards the one beside us. We joke about this very often from the Bima. We say, turn to the person next to you and say hello. But that's truly the antidote to the fear that we all have of just becoming another data point. So today, I hope you'll find somebody new to say hello to. Shabbat Shalom.